Well, if we're starting another one, you might need to furnish us with something to talk about.
We're starting a full one. I mean,
well, what are you talking about then?
Finishing out whatever.
Well, what time
previously.
is it? I don't need Caragors. What?
It's already. We're already a minute and 17 in.
No, I'm saying what is the time? Not
what's the actual time?
Well, because I mean we could do another one.
It is 1:28.
Oh, what does that mean?
I don't specifically have anything of intrigue.
Well,
intrigue to discuss.
Let's talk about cheese, since I know it's your favorite topic. Open quest.
No promise. I think you'll find it's your favorite topic.
Excuse me, fellas. Don't mean to cause you problems. Just looking at a bloodstain, or whatever this is. Nicene Creed. Alrighty, who's got intel? I want to suck the juicy intel from your noggin. Why does he have a mullet? Alrighty, I'd be fine if most of these guys died. There are so many Lugas in this. Why is this? That Luga is the orc equivalent of like Jeff.
That's who we're naming
Right, hi,
next
Jeff.
Luga. Hi, my name's Jeff, and is that some grog over there?
Who are you? Ew. Oh, it's Ushak the ugly man.
Okay, I can't take you serious, bud. You have a Hakamo.
He's also got... Something's not right about his face. I don't like his face. I'm trying to get out of here, bro. I don't need to deal with you. I'm trying to collect things.
Darn it, change your face.
It's really unnerving. Oh, why? Picking up artifacts. Get out of here. You're not worth my time. Well, I don't know. What are you going to talk about your feelings?
What?
Which represents my feelings and reminds me of...
Have you seen that yet?
No. Only the parts of it that have been shown to me.
I honestly I think that rendering of Shrek, the musical rendering of Shrek, is significantly better.
I don't think I can agree.
I think it's.
I think
better.
I can see how one would say that it is good, but to call it better, I think is pretty remarkable. I mean, that's a claim. Ooh, can I have this? I'd like to take that with me. Why can't I have that? I don't care. Yes. Oh, hey. Let me look at your dirty secrets. I'll read these, your dirty little secrets. That guy was in mid-swipe while I was doing that. All right. Ashgarn, there was already the sweet. You think he's sweet?
Sweet.
He's stealing Ronk's crazy dance, though. You don't get Ronk's crazy dance. He's got an earplug in one of his ears. He doesn't get to listen to the girl from Ipanema, but he's listening to something. The sweet is more of what I'm curious to interact with him, if only because what is that going to be like? He's going to be a genuine soft soul. I hate to kill you, but they make me.
I won't kill you.
He's just basically, I think he's going to be just the orc version of Arthur.
Arthur, oh.
What did you think I was saying?
I'm old.
It's like, I will definitely kill you, but I'll feel bad about it.
It's one of the best lines Arthur delivers to Alfie.
I'm going in circles. There's somebody over here that's level 8. I assume that's...
So what if this is a bit of a question that's I guess somewhat related to the whole Peaky Blinders thing, but it's not fully.
Well, we might as well
have you ever looked into the book? The 48 Laws of Power or something like that?
I own that book and I've read it. Yes.
Is it?
So the answer to that is yes.
Is it worth reading?
It's interesting.
Do you agree with it, or is it more?
Not always. I think it's become a very controversial book because essentially people think of it as like it's essentially the modern version of The Prince, where it's like, here's how to exploit people to get your way, and it's not exactly the point of it. I mean, you could probably use it to do that, but that's not exactly encouraging it. It's basically just a sequence of biographies about several famous people in history and how they used these tactics to their advantage. But it's also how you can protect yourself against such tactics when you know what they are. I think it's worth reading.
That's
if
like
only
dark psychology. I mean,
that's basically the whole point of the book. I mean, Robert Greene is his name, I believe. Pretty much all the books he's written have been on those kinds of subjects.
Huh.
So I don't think that it's like, read this book and you'll be unstoppable. But there were elements of it that I was like, I can certainly see how this would be a applicable life advice.
Because I've come across a couple of them, and then obviously there's a great... What is he on about?
War chiefs. Oh, so that's what they're called. So war chiefs. War chiefs are the guys on the pedestals.
Understand who guards war chiefs, and hunting them down first makes defeating the war chief much easier.
How do I... Okay. We already kind of knew about how... Oh! Two-horn. Two-horn? I mean...
Can you look him... Like, push details so we can see him up close.
It's making me tutorialize. Yeah, I know how it works. I want to see Two-horn. I don't know why Two-horn... It doesn't amuse me. But I feel tangentially amused. Like, I can't think of it as being funny, but for some reason there's like a slight absurdity to it that... Oh, here we go. Oh, he's got a...
Well, that's why it's absurd.
He's got a wholesome smile. Who are you? He certainly is dismembered now. It won't let me look at his stats. Oh no, sickly, beast fodder, vulnerable to stealth. Stop touching it! So I have to get... So as I suspected, I have to get close to him in order to get close to the war chief.
Well, I imagine if you take his brain from him,
Like suck it out of his nose like an Egyptian embalmer.
No, as far as that goes, I did look at the book, and I've kind of poked around at some of the contents a bit.
Where are we going, pal? What are you doing?
I found that it's
you're
a
following
bit
me.
of like... Cause I've read other books on dark psychology, on preventing being manipulated and things of that nature, and then the various the core kind of sociopathic tendencies, or like Machiavellianism, that kind of thing.
Why would I tell someone else to do my bidding for me? Don't be so edgy about it, bro. You're not that cool. He hops in a weird way. He's got a weird skip in his step that I don't like. Dude, hush up. We're in the middle of the orcs.
Sarge!
I'm supposed to stand here and do something? Investigate a clue?
Look for clues.
To bring the trail into focus. A deer went through here. Kill him. Do I have to command you to do that, or will you do it automatically? Why did you come across this?
Well, I mean, I was watching a guy that picks apart on a psychological level a lot of Peaky Blinders episodes and things of that nature. I think it was particularly the episode when Tommy is meeting
that's why I do that, so I can
Billy
kill two guys at
Kimber
once.
for the first time, and he talks about how even though Billy Kimber is the boss, that he acts very much like a not somebody who's in charge, and certainly doesn't carry himself as a person of like high status, because
wrong guy. I killed this guy for him. Sorry. No, get him. Kill him.
Because he essentially kind of talks through how his response is, by contrast to Tommy's, is far more...
Hey, Baranor, come on. This is one orc.
Not... Vulnerable's not the word I'm looking for. It's far more...
it comes across as much
volatile.
more petulant.
That's what, yeah. It's far more volatile, and it's less... You're going backwards now, I think.
No.
Okay.
Because, I mean, there's guys in my path. That's video game speak for I'm on the right way.
So
No, don't go so fast. We want to kill him at the same time. Okay, buddy, you don't have to make everything you do a statement.
Calm down, dude. You're on the captains. It's not like we're killing the war chief yet.
You're so human, captains. These are just random dudes.
Okay, yeah, he's got a weird job.
You see what I'm saying? He's got a bit of a...
I'm not running!
He's got a bit of a stick up himself.
Anyway, I asked that because I'm curious about the book. I mean, I've kind of been interested in what it's about.
I mean, it's quite long, so it's a bit of an intense read for...
Yeah, but doesn't its own chapter kind of sits... Each chapter kind of sits on its own in that...
Well, yeah, but there's a lot of them, and they're fairly thick. Oh, it's you.
Just means you lot get to die now.
That's just so intimidating. What? Get out of here. Do I have to kill this guy, or are we just trying to use him to get to his superiors? Why? Why am I not attacking right? There we go. Whee! I don't know. I think the moral outrage about the book is kind of silly, but I think,
What? I don't know that I've come across that particularly.
People have basically...
From what?
Because some people would
persuasion?
say that it advocates the things it's talking about, like you should be a Louis XIV sort of domineering tyrant. And it's like, well, no, it just outlines how that worked for him. And it even acknowledges that these kinds of strategies don't work much in the modern day. So it doesn't really advocate these things. It just describes them with no moral structure at all, which to some people means they think it's advocating them.
But I mean, what people groups specifically is having...
Who do you think? The kinds of people groups who complain about everything.
Well, but is it the same
so we
people
were
groups
killing
that
him.
Say, oh, Bond is just a male fantasy kind of
Probably,
groups?
yes.
Well,
I mean, I've not heard the same people make those same arguments, but I mean, it's the kind of thing. It's very much a social justice crowd thinking. Empathy is the secret to life, which it's not.
So
That was it? I thought so. We just had to kill him. I guess that's true. So they're saying you want to kill the bodyguards so that when you attack the main war chief, he doesn't have as many people defending him.
Right.
That I guess makes sense. Still upgrade unlocked. Call followers. Yeah, but I don't like that. I don't just want to have a posse at random. I want to do things on my own. Well, they don't see me. What is it you are all doing? All right, well.
No, the reason I ask is because... And you seem to think that...
I seem to think.
You're saying that book advocates empathy as an important thing, or
No, not the book advocates nothing, but people think by describing how, because it does describe how
you're
you
saying
would be.
the perspective of the people that are against
The
it.
people who are against it are the very much the nanny-state people who are like, you can't ever let people do things that would harm them or others. And that's why we have to control people. It's like, that just doesn't work.
Well, and that's why we are raising an entire country of squibs.
Well, tell us your opinion on that.
Well, I'm just saying, it's when you act like you can't, you have to please everybody or you have to be nice. It's Jordan Peterson's whole thing. Kindness is something we should teach our men, not niceness.
Those aren't the same at all.
Nice and kind are not at all the same.
Not in the slightest.
And niceness is enough with the niceties. It's not super helpful to anybody. But I am in slight disagreement with you. Well, actually, I would say even maybe more than slight, just because of
we agree on too many things.
And granted, I have not yet read the book. It's possible that in reading the book, my opinion may shift and sway slightly. But
What book?
you have mentioned a few times the book, The Problem with Empathy, or whatever it was.
Against Empathy? Have you finally read it?
I have not. I'm saying my natural bend is, especially with having somebody that has read like the EQ, emotional intelligence study, and within theology or within psychology and all that kind of stuff, and the notion that emotional intelligence is actually important.
Have you heard Jordan Peterson say emotional intelligence doesn't exist?
I have heard him talk about this, but I also then heard him clarify, because essentially what he's saying is...
It is more of a semantic quibble. He's basically saying it's agreeableness. It's not anything separate than that. Again, the reason the Big Five is called the Big Five is because just about every psychological trait breaks down into them.
But the reality
being high in
is...
agreeableness would be considered what would be considered being high in emotional intelligence. But it's not genuinely a form of intelligence. It's a personality trait.
But the issue is you can learn it. That's the thing. I think
but I mean,
you can.
Because
there are a lot of people that feign, or
I would argue
learn
that you
to
are
read emotional
it's a bit of, I think
intelligence.
it's a certain degree of fake it till you make it, where you will learn by doing it the habits that are helpful. What's with the Robin Hood
straight
hat?
up like Robin Hood. I was about to say
Takra the Rhymer. Oh, that's going to be fun to deal with. New target. No, I don't want you as a target. I just want to know your dumb name. Well, again, the book isn't suggesting you should be a cold-hearted snake.
I'm not saying
it's saying empathy, because sympathy and empathy deserve to be distinct, and they sort of are, but not officially. Everyone kind of has a different interpretation of what the words mean, but for the most part, it's saying to be sympathetic means to care about other people's concerns as much as you would care about your own, or at least to care about them somewhat. Empathy is to feel other people's concerns as if they were your own. And basically the point of the book suggests that clouds your decision making.
right.
Because then alleviating others' concerns becomes a selfish act, because you're actually just alleviating your own. But the trouble is, you might feel as though you've alleviated their problems, when in reality you've only done something that makes you feel like you've alleviated them. I mean, it's very much what a lot of social justice stuff goes on about, where you feel like because you've taken a stand on this thing, despite the fact that you haven't enacted any actual change, you've simply just, made your point. You feel as though you've done something helpful, and thus you feel better, but you haven't actually stopped the problem you were
and I think
complaining about.
to me, so I suppose if the book, and to a lesser degree your perspective on empathy, is that I think honestly we probably unpacked this the best in, what was the Frost?
She loves in a mood.
Whoa.
She loves in a mood. How are we not? Oh, okay. I don't know why they feel like they made her look a lot like Arwen for some reason, and that kind of throws me off. What? Are they saying they want to turn me into one of them?
I know what you fear, Tony. Your vision is not cast in stone.
I'm confused as to what's going on here.
Which key? It is the power of domination. The ring can enslave the minds of men. But what can be done? Sacrifices must be made.
So I think we hit it the best in that one, which is that empathy actually doesn't serve you well as a leader, but certainly just as a person in general, when you allow it to compromise what is actually logically better. It's like
Well,
that.
that's but the whole point of the book.
Okay, well, that I can agree with. So, like I said, it's
care,
possible.
It's not about saying, it's not like a Randian self-interest thing. It's simply saying...
That's not even self-interest. I'm just saying if you disregard concern for others.
Yeah, but that's not what empathy is.
Right,
Empathy
right.
is to feel others' pain as if it were your own.
So
and
if
you
that's
can see
how
in that
precise,
premise,
I suppose they're
you
being.
can see in that premise that means that solving other people's pain becomes solving your own, which is then a selfish act, which means that you don't actually achieve anything positive.
Right.
And it goes through multiple studies showing that a lot of the sort of campaigns for certain, afflicted groups, the things that are actually done on their behalf don't help them.
Right.
But no one wants to think. It's kind of, it's one example would be the idea that lots of studies have been done to show that giving money to the homeless just on the street
Right.
doesn't help them.
No, it doesn't. In fact, it enables them.
Yes, and you would be far better off supporting a local shelter or a local charity that provides for them, because they're going to have their own rules, they're going to have their own strictures that'll prevent the money you give from being abused.
Right.
But of course, people then think that's just being heartless because don't you feel bad when you pass them in the street? And it's like the book is not suggesting you shouldn't care at all.
Yeah.
It's simply saying you should stick with what you know logically to be true,
right,
based on the scientific evidence, rather than I would feel better if I did this, therefore I'm going to assume it's the right thing to do.
Right. Totally agree in that regard. I actually, in looking at the whole concept of emotional intelligence and Peterson's perspective on it, because that initially, it didn't bother me, but it just was like, oh, that's an interesting thought. And I agree that it's largely semantic, because even though he talks, he at one point talks about agreeableness as being what it is, and then at other point he talks about the idea that understanding other people's emotions comes from a point of a place, oftentimes he said it comes from a place of psychological in regards to Peterson and how he particularly has that perspective, and in one point he talks about the idea that when you have, he doesn't describe it as high emotional intelligence, but basically what he says is when you understand, the environment of other, and the kind of innately you are able to grab what the emotional tensions are in the room and things like that. It largely stems from childhood trauma, and he says it's not quite as dramatic as that, but basically what he says is if you grew up in a space where in order to save yourself, I'm butchering the way he states it, but basically it's like self-preservation wise, you have to learn your you learn the patterns, I suppose, of the adults in your life and things like that, and if they're unstable, then you're far more attuned to their emotional states, and so essentially that then carries into your adulthood, and so that's certainly true in my context for why I'm emotionally more attuned, and it's acutely aware, like it's something I'm acutely aware of. But I think the way he describes it is it's not something that's like this. The way they describe it sometimes is akin to like IQ, which is very different than what it is. It's certainly more of a psychological response based on your nurture almost purely and entirely. Again, agreeableness he talks about in the idea that some people are going to have more a tendency or a bend towards that one side or the other, but any sort of like knowledge of other people's emotions stems solely from the idea that you've had to pay more attention to it as a child.
But that would arguably still be part of agreeableness, like, because your personality is shaped by your childhood. That is sort of, not exclusively
agreeableness, but in that,
because agreeableness is part of that.
Yes, in that you want to find a homeostasis in your environment. Right. Anyway, but no, I certainly can agree that empathy is not something that should be
It is not a
applied
virtue in and of
really-
itself.
No, and in fact, I would argue, really, it's never required or useful to be applied. At best, it's neutral.
Oh boy, I
Is
missed
that
it, missed
a
it,
fair
missed it, missed it.
thing to say?
Oh, come on. There we go. I
would you
mean, I
agree-
would say that it can be a helpful thing, but it is not a virtue in and of itself.
In what context is it helpful? I think neutral.
I don't think
certainly.
there's anything wrong with it on an interpersonal level because it does give you a stronger ability to relate to people.
Wouldn't sympathy suffice to do that?
Well, maybe not. I'm saying in the sense of I'm talking in purely interpersonal relations rather than
So in closer, more familial.
yeah,
slash-
just in the ability to. I mean, I think probably. Okay, what? Oh, okay. It wasn't letting me move. I think the ability that would give you a much.
two horn.
I think that would give you an advantage in, for example, an administrative type role. Like if you are to be a kind of person that can bring a team together, I think that would help you
Yeah.
as an ability to sort of be in tune with each members and be able to kind of suit their needs.
But that
But I wouldn't say that
argue
it's
is-
inherently a moral good, but it would be useful to you in that context.
right.
Okay, so I have no clue what I'm actually doing.
So
here.
really, that book doesn't suggest that
Oh, I just gotta kill
it's
the guy. It's not saying it's wrong, but it's saying it's not a virtue in and of itself, which is how many people view it. He's got
and that's certainly
karambits.
true.
He thinks
Is that
he's
seriously what he has?
he thinks he's edgy. Booble.
Is that what it says?
I'm keeping Booble. You can. I don't want to kill Booble. Okay, I'm getting shot at. Oh, Elven range. I'm a
Don't take
slice.
Booble out.
I hope I don't, but I mean, in this kind of context, I'm not sure I would be able not to. Booble, did you survive?
Booble.
Are you still alive? I hope they don't make me kill everyone here. You're not Booble. Okay, I got something in my eye. Not helpful right now. Mug. Yeah, you can go. I don't need a mug. Could certainly use a Booble. It's funny. I want to kill the big.
He'll be-
the big.
Oh,
no,
you just
no.
Did you kill him?
I don't think so. He's fireproof, apparently. I don't know how that comes about, but
He'll be
Oh,
be
no.
the manager
I
of
need a
your
hero.
coin purse collection.
what? Okay, why am I on the? That was weird. I was just on the ground. No, get away from me.
No, so it sounds like they're just bringing balance to what it is,
Yes,
which
it's
is
simply
again,
because
it's,
many people think of it as like if you're not an empathetic person, that means you're a bad person. It's like, well, no, because empathy doesn't make you a good person.
agreed, totally, 100%.
I don't want to kill everyone here because I'd rather keep Booble alive. I deflected that.
Boo and boo boo and boo
Sort
boo
of what
boo.
I'm sort of thinking of that. I don't know why they make me do that if it's just gonna. Oh, is it you? You can stay. Except you stay. Booble can live. This guy apparently. Okay, you. I don't like you none. Uh-oh. No! Oh, I didn't kill him. Well, this means he probably is Booble. Okay, I'm trying to collect things. What if I get you right in the noggin? Hey!
Headshot.
Dope! Hostile takeover. Can Booble
That
live?
was awesome.
I don't want to kill Booble. No. Mr. Man. Oh, hey!
Hooray.
Booble lives! I hope. Speak for yourself. I am the war chief. I just got a new work fortress. So Booble's alive, I hope. I mean, I didn't kill him. Unless somebody else did. This is awfully existential.
We cannot see words. We must return to shore. The elements turn back. This fall
Enough! This is about more than your ring. Or you! Sight may be what saves us all.
No, Talion.
He's just getting absorbed because he's got a thing for goth chicks. Talion likes the weird, sultry goth lady, and
And
You shouldn't judge him for that.
I was about to say, and who doesn't?
All right. Let's kill the stealth archers. We're making some progress. We're actually doing all right.
Booble's alive, and
I
we
hope.
get to
I mean,
take
I don't-
that fortress over.
I don't think I killed him.
Go to your orcs. I bet you he's exposed.
Unless somebody else killed him. It's
The
entirely
boobles are exposed.
possible. Well, you want to keep your boobles wrapped up.
Where
Where
is
you
he?
at? I don't remember. Booble. I don't remember what he looked like.
He's a scrawnier one.
Look a boo.
Whoop. Go back to the front.
Ash. Mog. Bushak. Where you at? Well, where is ya? You killed Muzu. The Discipline Master? He's not in here. Maybe is he somewhere else? Well, that's weird. Okay, then maybe he's one of the. He might have been one of the other war chiefs, actually. I mean, he was at the gathering of war chiefs.
We'll have to change him to with a mind control deal.
Soldier's longbow, rare gear. That's cool. Okay, yeah. Well, you don't have to make me do it right away. Level 70. Whoa! Although it has a it only has a
what?
capacity of 4.
Yeah, but if the attack is good enough that it's one shot, one kill, then
But I mean, is it? Oh, that's.
is it nominal?
It's 23 points. I don't know how much that really is, so we'll have to see, I guess. But I see several corpses.
Did you already equip the other one?
Equip the other one. I mean,
Did you equip the new one?
Yeah.
To see.
Oh, that one's more. We'll see
More
what
of
it's
that
like.
one.
I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff in here. So, anyways, what were you saying? Were you done? Did you?
Yeah, I was done. I mean, I think that again, if it's
Ooh, hey
in a
yo!
very, Tau concept, it's really about finding the balance.
Well, yes. There's some cash around here for me to collect.
Almost like the Stoics actually agreed with some of the Eastern and the Western.
All right. Well, I don't know that they agreed in the sense of I don't think they knew, but I think they discovered the same things
Well,
from a
yeah,
different
certainly.
lens. Come on, give me my stuff. So you're saying this guy watched that whole thing and didn't? What? Where did they come from? Where did all of you come? Oi! I don't know why I gotta stab people in their face. Alright, well, this fortress I just cleared out has suddenly repopulated.
I bet you Booble's in there somewhere.
Well, let's leave him be. I want him to level up. Whee! I wasn't gonna stop in the middle. There's all sorts of gems everywhere. Where are these coming from?
Probably from times we've killed people and haven't gone back and actually taken care of it.
You see nothing.
He's
you
getting
know
up.
Nothing. No, you're not. Suck your nose.
Suck your... You said nose weird, like... Suck your nose.
Can I know these guys? Oh, I can know their names. Which one of you is Booble? Rash? No, that's not as funny. I mean, I know obviously there's the potential of it, but Rash also means hasty. And
Yeah, I know, yeah.
that's not as, I don't know, there's it's not an immediate obvious joke. I mean, if it was like Rash the Itchy, maybe. He used to call himself King Itchy.
Or Itch the Rashy.
Cannabis. Cannabis? Can I have some,
Cannabis.
can I have some cannabis?
Open this cannabis.
That sounded like some sort of Hogwarts spell. Open his cannabis.
Open this cannabis.
Ooh, that's just such a strange thing. Hiya, hiya, hiya,
Perfect that mid-air change. That gravity-defying mid-air change jump.
Wait. Remember Bon Jovi. Bonds.
Bong.
Bong. That's about it, I think. Bon Marie. Do I have? Okay.
Bon Iver.
Yeah, Bon Scott.
Bon Appetit.
I think we've mined enough in that. You will tell no one. What? It didn't shoot.
You smacked his sword like it was a stick.
Well, it is. Might as well be. What in the name? Get out of here. I'm just spanking him in the butt. With a hammer, no less. That's, I mean, if you want your kids to behave, I suppose. That'll... If I fracture... Oh, okay. That was going straight up him. I was sticking that. That was a catheterization.
First one was a castration. The second one was a gynecological exam.
That's awful. Oh, that's so horrible. That's the most evil thing you've ever said. I don't need that in my life. Oh boy, who's you? Unknown captain or a new thingy to do? Trader's Gate. I want to finish all of these collectible things before we continue with the main quest. Who are you? Massacre the Shovelers. What do the Shovelers do?
They shovel.
No, I said, what did they do?
Oh, I thought you...
What do Shovelers do?
They shovel.
I'm gonna take it.
Have you ever heard of Rash and his shovelers? No.
Destroy the overload travel mine. I may as well get this last tower and I'll do some of these. What? Well, no, yeah, I'm just setting things to it. Alright. It's that way. Well, Gorum Bad Outpost. Great. Who's you? Stab you up. Nope. Not today. Well, any other good books you've been reading?
Not particularly. I mean, I'm working on...
Not that I can think of offhand.
I mean, I'm working on reading through The Eighth Habit from Covey right now,
You've
but
been
that's
reading
not...
that for a while.
That's been on the back burner because I've had
How
a great many
How far
books.
back?
Well, to be precise, I have 3 books ahead of it. Because I keep adding books as I get them. Like Peaky Blinders ended up taking the top spot because I was like, I want to read this.
Yeah,
so I'm working through that right now, and then I have the tail end of The Way to Win on left, which that one is, I probably should just get through it and call it a day. Because I have not read anything earth-shattering yet on that one.
Oh, new guy. Who's you? No, we got enough of these gurus.
That kind of works, though.
Why? There's nothing funny about it.
Just...
Gura! I mean, that's about the only joke I can think of, and that's not that funny. I want a funny name. Give me a funny name. You're my little funny name.
You're being able to do those...
Because I don't just blunder forth and hack up everyone. I grab the guy I want, and then I get out of there. Gund? Gund?
Gund.
No.
It's Gund, yeah?
Still no. I learned how to do that when I abducted people.
What? Popping their heads like pimples, or...
No, the sneak in, grab the one you want, and leave.
Wow! Now that's the most evil thing you've said. That was terrible.
Where am I heading? Whoa,
Only
big
thing-
fortress.
There's only one thing worse. A child.
I never specified the demographics.
It still doesn't justify it.
Alrighty.
I'm talking about old people from the nursing home.
There's someone stealing old people. Okay, so something tells me I'm... Ah, there it is. Whee! Ooh, Caragor! Well, they don't see me. They're talking to each other. I can't hear what they're saying, though. No. So how much do you actually read in a week or a month or however you plan it? You ever done the Goodreads thing?
I have made a
I
good
feel
reads.
like
I
you-
have yet to find you, and I've had this conversation.
It is hard to. It's weirdly specific. You can't just. It's not like a Facebook thing where you could just search names. It's like unless you get it perfectly right, it won't show up. But I think you would appreciate it because of the ability to set the goals and track them. Because that really helped me to keep on track of stuff. Ooh.
It's not as much that I have not felt like I've met my own goals as much as I've been. Anytime I was in my master's degree in college, obviously, there was a little bit more like, hey, this has to be done at this particular time. Now that I have my own ability to just say I read because I want to, I am a little less.
But don't you want
quick
to
to-
read more?
Oh, sure. I'm
Then
just.
setting goals helps.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a hard and fast thing, but I find that having a goal and then seeing the progress towards it is like a good motivator to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
My problem is I have multiple books in one at a time.
Well, that's probably something you should avoid then if
rather
it's a
than,
problem to
like,
you.
Like, I don't know whether you do that, like
I
in multiple
don't
subjects.
really. I mean, I'm
I
not
tend
opposed
to be like a
it.
linear reader, and so I want to make sure that I get one book done before I move on to the other.
Well, then
but
why
the
don't you
problem
do
is,
that?
but the problem is, if another book that I find that's new or that comes across my
Put it next.
like, I then go, well, this one I
Be
want
in
to read.
you're in control of yourself. Don't act like the book's making you read
Oh,
it.
sure, I'm not saying that. But
Well, then you can't go claiming I would like to do it this way. I just wouldn't like it that way. Your controller batteries are low. This is why I hate wired control or non-wired controllers. Oh, Thildine's up there. Well, let's hope it makes it. Well, actually, it only really needs to make it about another 10 minutes. Hi, I just was coming to look at your graffiti. I didn't expect you all in here. A Puckabookawakas. I didn't see what that said. It was a bunch of gibberish. Wee, woohoo, wow. How many times can I do that? Is it only once, or could I, like, walk across the whole sky like this?
just flipping repeatedly in the air.
That would be quite a thing to see. Who is around?
Especially for that one guy that gets enraged by it. Just, "Yeah!
Look at him do that! It defies physics!
Get him down here!"
Bill Nye the Science Orc. Alrighty. Whoa, okay. Cliff
About
face.
147 orc genders.
Genders? What?
Well, it's Bill Nye. He's
Well,
weird
he's-
in his
he's
weird
dumb
perspectives
nowadays,
now.
but-
Yeah.
What does that have to do with 140? Why orc genders?
I don't know.
Only orcs can have multiple genders? Well, we're about to find out just about everyone in the camp. Shaka, we already had a Shaka. And you look way too angsty. I don't like the BDSM harness.
No.
I don't like the weird creepy hood. I don't like anything. I don't like the weird pelvic skull you've got going.
Yeah, that's the thing that concerned me. I wondered whether you picked up on that. It's got a bit of a cross shape, pointing the wrong direction.
I'm not okay with you, Shaka Laka.
Shakalaka.
Oh, gone.
Shaka Khan.
Press it. Yeah, I know how it works. What we got here, eh? What? Prefer orders of. This is the weirdest piece of paper. This isn't how you would write this. Here's how we're going to structure ourselves, and here's the helmets they're going to wear.
Such matters of supply seem mundane, until
second captain.
Desperately fighting all the rashes. Then you're eager to pay attention to the disease.
That's weird. How would that have survived in this dark, dirty cave?
Structure of Garnu's army, from general to foot soldier.
The structure the orcs will cast down the moment they set foot in Gondor.
Well, you're just a cheery fellow, aren't you?
That's why it's useless to go back to Shelob for anything but my ring. Stop asking her questions, okay? I don't want to be exposed.
It was a long time ago. I don't know where the next one is. I'm just gonna burglarize a guy for no purpose at all. Why did I have to hold him like that for so long? That was unnecessarily cruel.
Just let me hold you.
Just let me throttle you. Suck your nose. No. I guess technically I'm sucking it out of their eyes. Crosh, where's Booble? I want Booble back. I'm bringing Booble back. We have had a bit of an unlucky run with names so far. Except in the other side. In the other side, things are actually doing alright, but... Okay, I'm in, like, the total wrong place of this. What? It's on the other side of a giant rock! No, we'll keep bringing it back. Well... what on earth? This place is huge. I guess it doesn't matter. I can fall from 1,000,000 feet.
Before I let this corpse die?
Well, basically, I mean, there's nothing stopping me. I mean, I suppose if I'm turned to mush, that'll be hard to animate, but I bet you Ghost Man could try it. I'm just flipping and flopping around.
Like that.
Moving along the ground like a slime.
Like that.
I'm just an undulating bag of skin.
That scene from the Toy Story where
When he's the tortilla.
where he's the tortilla and he's just like sliding across.
That's what I'm just a bag of moving skin. What kind of making a rattling noise?
Thank you, skin bag.
Making just my rattle along the ground as my bones just like a beanbag chair. Alrighty, well, we're gonna get another artifact, and I don't know, are we close to a main quest stopping? Kirithungal, what's this one gonna be? Oh, ew, gross. Who's drinking this?
Bootstrap Bill.
You realize what you're drinking is meant for eye surgery.
You realize what you're drinking is meant for engine grease.
I wouldn't want this in my eyes either. I don't know what this would be. I can't hear what she's telling us what it is, but I don't care. Alright, well, is there a stopping point other than...
Gut milk.
What on earth is that a reference to?
Never mind.
That sounds hideous. I guess this is right here. We could start this and then just not finish it, but it's just... I'd like to gather up all the remaining things because I think this sounds like it's going to take us back. Oh no, I'm just going to go to Shelob again. Never mind. I thought they were saying
How long is that going to be? Because that actually may be a decent end if it's short. But
well, who knows? I guess we'll find out.
Shelob can reveal Salad's weakness.
He seems awfully trusting.
But at what cost? My disgrace. What just happened? You dismembered. What's happening?
He's jiggling. I don't like the jiggling.
Something occurred just now.
I dug him a shallow grave. A very shallow grave.
That only holds his arms and legs.
Alrighty.
He's sticking his head in the sand.
Well, he looks somewhat like an ostrich, so...
That's not what I was getting at, but okay.
Shelob, give me... a snog.
Wow.
Keep it above the waist. Keep it looking at her.
Keep it looking
Self.
at my ring.
If you can see Sauron's fate, boss's weakness. So we may defeat him.
Your vision is limited.
Okay. Your vision's limited. Let me expand it for you.
My gaze is fixed upon the fate of Middle Earth.
Return what you stole. And I will reconcile to you. Chains.
I think we're witnessing a custody battle. What?
Is this what you seek? Fakeries and riddles.
Well, I'm kind of with Kelahimbo on this. I think he's got a good point.
Come to
What?
see through my eyes.
This is creepy. Let me touch your forehead.
Defeat comes from within.
That revealed nothing.
Yeah.
That was a great story in which you revealed nothing about yourself.
You should.
Her visions have come to pass.
Have they? They're so. I think she's just pulling the classic fortune teller thing where you keep it vague enough that of course it's going to come to pass. Their defeat will come from within. Well, who knows what that means? How did you know about? Why haven't you spoken to this before? Okay, well now this is a new quest. And this is going to be like the last one where I'm going to probably have to defend him against people, and I don't know, who knows. He hops strangely. That's just a little bit creepy. What? What? What are they? Oh, I can use these to like distract people, I guess. If there were people around to distract. What? Okay, this seems awfully public. Seems awfully public, Gollum. Why are you leading me into a trap, Gollum? And then he just runs away. Oh, oh. Like you face spiders. Oh, that's a little bit creepish. Alright, well, I don't know how long this is going to take.
I don't know. Do you want to stop in the middle or?
Well, I don't know if I'll be able to. We might have, well, I suppose we've only just started it, so we might, it'll probably just take us back to the start of it, and we've only just done that, so.
Very true.
Well, it's weird. Alright, well.
We're starting our own orc football team.
I'd like,
called
yes, fantasy orc. What's our name?
The Rams Bottoms.
I think we should call it.
What? What?
I can't say that.
Just say it.
No, because it's too. No, I don't think it. Well, I'm just. The fact, I think this man's a fan of my man boob coin purses. So I was gonna it was gonna be a name in that direction. I'll just leave that to everyone's imagination. Comment what you think it should be.